Egg salad sandwiches are simple, but when they're done right, they're hard to beat. This one is creamy, fresh, and served on my homemade brioche. It's the next sandwich in my weekly sandwich series. Let's make it. I have a few tips in here on how to make perfect hard-boiled eggs, so make sure you watch this video to the end. So we're going to start with 6 eggs. I put them into a pot, I cover them with cold water, and I bring everything up to a rolling boil. As soon as it hits that rolling boil, I'll turn the heat off completely, cover the pot, and let the eggs sit for 12 minutes. While the eggs finish cooking in that water that we took off the stove, we can get our bread ready. I'm using my homemade brioche, and I like to cut the slices pretty thick for a sandwich like this. Now that our bread is sliced, we can go ahead and put these off to the side, and once our eggs are cool, we can start working on those eggs. Sometimes eggs peel beautifully, and sometimes they give you a little trouble. This batch definitely gave me some trouble here. There's a thin membrane between the shell and the egg, and sometimes it really wants to stick to the egg. Fortunately, we're making egg salad, so the eggs don't need to look perfect here. Just try to keep as much of the egg together and make sure you remove all that membrane because it's really chewy and not fun to eat. Another tip that works really well sometimes is to peel it in water. These ones fortunately weren't giving me too big of a hard time, but that's another tip you can use. So I'd say crack it on the table, put it in the water, and then peel it underwater to help get that membrane off. Another tip is if they are being really difficult, I like to crack them a bunch. So just get the whole egg cracked all the way around and then peel it. And I find that helps get that membrane off as well. Once the eggs are peeled and cleaned, I like to set them on a paper towel and get them as dry as possible. Water doesn't add any flavor, and any moisture left on the eggs is just going to make that egg salad watery and runny. Alright, now let's look at these eggs. This is exactly how they should look. They're just nicely, evenly cooked all the way through, all yellow, no green. Now this brings me to my next huge tip whenever I'm making something like egg salad or potato salad. I always separate the whites from the yolks. I'll chop the whites separately, but the yolks get mixed directly into the dressing. For this egg salad, I'm mixing them right into my homemade mayonnaise, and those yolks break down and create this really rich, creamy base that coats everything beautifully. I do the same thing with potato salad, and it makes a huge difference in the final texture. Now we'll use those yolks to make the dressing. I'll add some white vinegar, Dijon mustard, lemon juice, and a generous amount of my homemade mayonnaise because I really like mayonnaise. And we'll work everything together with the fork until it starts getting nice and smooth and coming together. From there, I'll season it with salt and pepper and give it a taste. It's important to taste as you go because sometimes you need to adjust a recipe based on what's actually happening in front of you. This one needed a little bit more acidity, so I added some more lemon juice to make it taste just how I like it. That combination of lemon and white vinegar really helps cut through the richness of the eggs and the mayonnaise. Once the yolks are mixed into a nice smooth dressing, we can start chopping the egg whites. I don't like large chunks in my egg salad, so I chop these pretty fine. I want a little texture, but I also want everything to come together evenly so you get a little bit of everything in each bite. It's also egg salad, so it should be pretty soft and kind of pillowy and easy to chew through and eat. You can chop the egg whites as fine or as coarse as you'd like. At this point, I actually added a little bit more mayonnaise because I wanted the egg salad a bit creamier. Then I'll mix everything together until it's nicely combined. And remember, seasoning can change as food sits, especially with something like egg salad or potato salad. Something that tastes perfectly seasoned today might need a little more salt tomorrow. So always taste your food and adjust the seasoning before you serve it. If you don't want the bread, honestly, you could just eat the egg salad just like this. Put it on some crackers, lettuce, or whatever you like. But we're making a sandwich today, so I'll set this aside for a minute and go get our brioche toasted. I like to do this over about medium heat, and I take my time with it. That gives the brioche a chance to absorb some of that butter and toast evenly without getting too dark on the outside. We're looking for a deep golden brown with a nice crisp exterior while the center stays soft. Brioche works really well for this sandwich because it's soft, buttery, and rich, which pairs perfectly with the egg salad. And since I'm keeping everything else really simple, that toasted brioche gives us the only real textural contrast. The bread is golden and crisp on the outside, while the egg salad stays soft and creamy. And if you want to make your own brioche, I have a full recipe on my channel that I'll link at the end of this video. Putting the sandwich together is really simple. I like the egg salad around room temperature and the brioche still warm from the pan. That contrast makes a big difference. We'll add a generous layer of egg salad, top it with a second slice of toasted brioche, and then we'll cut it in half. And that's really all there is to it. Egg salad is such a simple sandwich to make, but it's delicious when it's done well. This is part of my sandwich series, where I make the sandwiches I love to eat and I show you how to make them from scratch. If you enjoy watching videos like this, make sure you subscribe and come gather at our table. We'd love to have you join us, and I'll catch you on the next one.